think it's time for a little trauma dump. This is gonna be harder than I thought. Yokozuna, mother. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I honestly don't even know how to start this. I want to do this. I want to do this because I feel it necessary, but it's making me so anxious that I don't even know where to start. This is just as a PSA, because I know that the way I storytell this type of situation isn't going to be the way somebody else does it, but I do it in a way that I have to make fun of myself sometimes, or else, how do I say, like, I just have to do it in a way that it's funny to me to make fun of myself, but what happened was not funny and was not a funny situation. That's just how I deal with things, is I have to just sometimes make fun of myself, okay? And I have to say things in like a jokingly type of way. But that's just my own nervousness of the situation, or of me trying to just keep calm and not go into like full panic attack, because this, like, I could already feel just myself being anxious just even telling this story, because I am, in a way, my biggest fear in a way is that I'm about to, my biggest fear, I guess, in a sense, is that I'm about to open a can of worms that I don't know what's going to happen with. I don't know what's going to happen when I tell this story. I don't know what's going to happen when people hear this story, because I didn't didn't tell this story to many people. Not because I was embarrassed, not because, it just because it was one of those things that I wanted to keep private to myself, because I just didn't want a lot of people knowing that this had happened to me. Had I been the Lily that I am now, I think back then I would have been more of a bitch and like outed everything out. But me being me still being nice, I'm gonna try and keep it as Lily as possible, meaning that I'm just gonna tell this story through my own narrative as it happened to me. Like I said, I spent a whole year not saying anything about anything that's happened in my life in regards to last year. I'm sure everyone has their story or their version of me that's been told by that person, and I can only share my side of things when it comes to this specific story, because it was a pretty fucked up thing. It's probably one of the most fucked up things that's ever happened to me, and I've been cheated on, to say the least. That this is probably one of the most mentally abusive relationships that I've been in, that's for sure. I feel that this was something that probably needed to happen in order for me to open my eyes and really start to be like, what the fuck, Lily? Like, get a grip here. I spent this last year really trying to fix myself, really trying to hone my worth, really trying to find my self-value, really trying to just find myself again. And the reason I'm choosing to tell this story now is because I've basically stayed quiet for a whole year about everything. And so I'm finally in my era of I don't give a fuck anymore. And this particular incident, as much as it wasn't as easy to forget, it still affects me. And even right now, as I'm trying to do this video, I can see how this person still affects me. Like, it's almost like I'm still, in a way, it's almost like in a way I'm still afraid of this person, even though that they're not in my life anymore, and even though that this happened over a year ago, and we've completely cut ties. Like it's still, something is still here. Something is still honing in me that is not like, yeah. When this particular incident happened to me, I remember going home, or I remember the first thing that I did, you know, after I got home was I wrote it all down. I refuse to let this guy see me cry anymore. So I don't agree with what happened, because that shows me the kind of man that he is, and that I was right all along to have these instincts to no longer trust him. I think it's fucked up. I don't think it should be happening to anyone. I think now I'm just trying to figure out what to do next. That's where I'm stuck. A part of me just wants to move on and forget anything happened, and a part of me is now doing this video to solidify, hey, this really happened to you, and you need to acknowledge that it really happened and not disassociate with the situation anymore. I wrote every single detail down because I needed to remember that this happened to me, because in the moment it felt like I was living in somebody else's world, or it was somebody else's life, or I was watching a movie and what happened didn't just happen, and it wasn't happening to me, it was happening to somebody else. I basically like disconnected myself from that moment, and I felt that I was just walking in this haze of something that was not happening to me. Hey, it's like future editing Lily here. Right now that I'm like sitting here like editing this video, I remembered just something crazy. I remember that I had to, after this incident that happened, I remember that I had to meet up with my friend at the mall the next day, and I remember having to pretend to just be normal and be okay, and just basically walk around the mall like this particular incident didn't just happen to me. And I remember specifically like they wanted to grab some lunch, and I think at that point like my mental state was like already like starting to like deteriorate and like tap out, because I remember thinking like I can't get through lunch like with my face just like pretending like nothing happened. Like I can't do that. So I remember I told her like that I couldn't do lunch. Like I think I just said that I had to leave and I couldn't do lunch. And I remember just leaving the mall, and gosh, I'm barely making it to my car. I remember just closing my car door, and I just started to like bawl. Like I cried for a really long time because I was just trying to be so normal and just hold it together that I couldn't do it anymore. And I just remember just wanting to just like scream in my car from like all of the like anxiety and like anger and hurt that I was feeling in that moment, that I just like broke down in my car. And I don't know if I ever told her that because she did end up hearing the story after, but I don't know if I ever told her that I broke down in my car after like that day at the mall. I said I wanted to be more vulnerable and open, so here it is, I guess. Not a lot of people know this story. I think maybe even my own boyfriend only knows a little bit of it. I've never told him the complete detail of it. Just because like we've never really deep dove into like this type of conversation before. He only knows like the surface part of it. Yeah. I guess to start off, maybe I'll give like a little bit of background context as to why things led up to everything. Basically, I had just spent a weekend. Basically, I was dating this guy for a while. You know, I thought he was like so cool, so dope. We had a lot of stuff in common. Like he was a musician. I'll just leave it at that. And like for the most part, we started off like any normal relationship. It was pretty cool. A little bit after that, everything started to change. Like I just, it was just not good. It was just not good. And that's like, I guess I could go into like many different other stories, but it's gonna like segue me from this story. So let's just say like it was not going good, okay? And so we had a weekend trip planned, and a part of me knew, that I shouldn't be going. That I just should have not gone to that trip that weekend, because as much as like I knew I shouldn't have gone, you know, I had him in my ear, like, I really want you there, like, I really want you hanging out with me and my family. Like, that was another reason why I shouldn't have gone. Like, I shouldn't have met his family at all, but sometimes I felt that I was being used more as for show than for sometimes really, like, did you even really want me there? Like, you know, yeah, like that, like I said, that weekend was just like a roller coaster weekend. Like, I didn't feel like my confident self like I usually felt, because like there had just been so much like mental like deterioration and anguish. There was just this thing about like I just never felt good enough for him. Like, and it's as shitty it is to say about yourself, like to have someone make you feel that way is awful. And that's just how I felt. And so I didn't want to be around his family because I already felt like shit like from the beginning. Anyway, yeah, like so yeah, it's just like it just was not like a good start. So because we were already going into that trip kind of like we didn't know we were together, but he was telling people that we were together, and like everybody knew me as like his girlfriend, but he never asked me to be his girlfriend. So it's kind of like, it was weird. It was just weird. Okay. And so, just leaving, like getting that weekend, like it was just like an emotional roller coaster. Like we ended up getting into like this big blow up of a fight at one point, where he just like stormed out of the room one day, and I was just kind of like, good riddance. Like, I don't want to be around you. And and so on the way home, leaving Vegas, so when we were leaving Vegas, like we were already like on edge with each other. We were just like, I remember like he asked me to drive, which I'm okay with driving, like I don't care. But I remember asking him like if he could drive, because like as you, I don't think I ever told you guys the story about like my metal plate on my leg, but like I have like a metal plate on my leg, so like driving long distances sometimes is really, really painful for me. And like he wanted to stop on the way back home somewhere to eat, and I simply asked him like, hey, like is it cool like if you take over? Like my leg's really starting to hurt me. Like it's starting to be a little bit painful. But prior to this, like he was already like criticizing like my driving, like the way like I wasn't like, how do I like paying enough like I was like, oh my god, like I already have driving, like just thinking about it again is giving me anxiety. I already have driving anxiety as it is, and just hearing him in my ear just nag about everything I do, about like whether I brake too fast, or like the way I switch lanes was my fault, not the other driver's fault, that like the way I got switched over on in lanes, or like basically anything you can do to like criticize a person and their driving, that's what he would do to me. Like so when I would drive his vehicle, I'd be like so tense just driving, because like his, like, I could just feel his judgment like the whole time as I'm just like trying to get us home. So I think at that point I was just like, all right, dude, like I'm exhausted, my freaking leg hurts, like is there any way that you can take over? Like, I think like our next stop was like Baker or something, I don't even remember. And I was like, is it cool if I like pull over in Baker? Let's just say it's Baker, because he wanted to go to In-N-Out, and I don't remember where the In-N-Out was. And he was just like, yeah, I asked you to drive us to In-N-Out. And I was like, yeah, but like, is it cool if like we pull over before that and then you drive to the In-N-Out and take over? I was like, my freaking leg just really, really hurts, you know? Just a simple question or whatever. And he just like blew up, and at that point he was just like, you're so fucking selfish, you only think about yourself, I drove us all the way there, like, and he's like, you can't even drive us to like get food, like. And at that point, like, I just shut down, and like I knew that I was just like, I'm not gonna say anything because this is just gonna blow up even more. So I just decided to keep my mouth shut and drive towards the In-N-Out, because I was like, this isn't like a winning argument. I'm just gonna do whatever the hell he wanted me to do. So I get there, and after having like that yelling fest in the car of him just being like, you're selfish, you're like blah blah blah, I was like, I'm not in the mood to talk. I'm not even in the mood to be here. Like, I don't even want to eat this fucking burger. Like, I fucking hate this place. I want to go home. Like, I want to get home so bad. Like, this is how desperate I was to get home. I was so desperate to get home that I was just like complying with everything that he was saying, because I just wanted the safety and the assurance of being in my own home, being able to get my shit out of his vehicle, and just like I basically was just trying to get home. If that's not like a red flag in itself, where I'm just trying to get home because I don't feel that I want to be in a vehicle with someone, because I don't feel safe anymore, like that's how intense this relationship was. Okay, so basically we get to the In-N-Out, we're just eating at the In-N-Out. I'm not talking to him because I was like, I'm not about to engage in any type of conversation that I'm having with you right now. Like, after being yelled at like that, after asking if you could just drive us the rest of the way, but whatever. I'm just sitting there, not talking, not eating, and scrolling through my phone. And he gets pissed off, gets up, and just walks out of the restaurant and like leaves me there. Doesn't even say anything. At that point, I'm thinking, this fucker abandoned me at the In-N-Out. Like, and at the same time, I didn't care. I was like, if he left my shit on the side of the road, like, I didn't give a damn. Because that meant that like that was it. He was gone. I didn't have to deal with him the rest of the way. I had no problem dialing up and calling my sister and be like, hey, can you pick me up at the In-N-Out? Because I would have rather done that than spend any more time in that vehicle with this guy. But that's not what happened. He ended up literally just getting up and then going to his car and being pissed off that I was on my phone, scrolling through my phone instead of having a conversation with him at a restaurant, and the fact that I had embarrassed him at the restaurant. Yeah, I embarrassed him. Like, he didn't even like think like, hey, you getting up and storming out and saying fuck this like would have embarrassed me in any sense, but you know, I embarrassed you. Like, okay. So I see that the vehicle is still parked where it's parked, and like my ass is just like dreading even walking over to it, because I don't know what's about to face me. So I open the door, get in the car, buckle myself in, and prepare myself for the longest and most silent hour-and-a-half drive of my life, because I wasn't gonna say shit after that. So the whole time I'm just like looking at my clock, looking at my phone, looking out the window. I'm just like, okay, I'm like an hour away from my house. I'm 45 minutes away. I'm 30 minutes away. I'm 20. I'm almost home. I'm almost there. Lily, just keep your mouth shut. Like, don't say anything. Don't make him angry. don't ask him anything. Like, if he says something, just answer it in the most like sweetest way. Like I was literally just trying to get home. So we finally get home. Like, he drops me off, I get my shit out, I don't say anything, I close the door, and I walk, like, I kid you not, the walk up my driveway, like I was telling myself, you're not safe until you go inside your house. So me, like, just going up my driveway with my suitcase, like, as fast as I can to open up that door, because I needed to just feel that I finally made it inside my house and I was away from him. That is the reason why, and I've never, ever done this in my entire life of dating anyone, but that is the reason why I decided to just ghost this guy. Basically, I went no contact because I wanted him to know, like, what happened that weekend was not cool, and I never wanted to talk to him again after that, but I needed to say that without saying it. He basically started calling me from his work phone. He would email me consistently, to the point where it just gets like so unbearable. Like, you're getting all these voicemails and emails of just him, like, I was basically just getting like a bunch of voicemails from him, just like freaking trashing me because I decided to ghost him because he doesn't even know what he did. At the time, I was like, okay, I kind of want to give in. Like, it's not fair what I did. Like, I should have done it that way. Like, and again, this is me, right? This is me at the time, just still being like, freaking go with the flow. Like, it's okay, Lily. Like, let's forgive people because we're nice. Like, type of mentality at the time. And like, it was just so much bombarding, like love bombing that was happening, that like I was starting to give in. And be like, all right, like maybe I should hear him out. Maybe I should like talk to him and like explain what happened, or explain my side, or let him explain his side or whatever. And again, this is where my mentality was at the time, where I was just like, just so fucked up, And I feel like life always sends you signs, right? Life sends you signs when you're about to do something that you probably shouldn't be doing. And it's up to you if you want to listen to it. So I was having one of those weak moments that as girls we always have, and we're just like, oh my god, like he truly cares about me or whatever. And I was about to give in and be like, you know what, let me give him another shot, when I receive a message from his ex-girlfriend telling me basically that she wanted to talk to me about some stuff. And me being me, I want to know what this stuff is, right? So, yeah, I gave her my number and I was like, here, bitch, call me. Let's talk it out because I want to hear what's going on. Basically proceeds to tell me that they have hooked up, that they not just hooked up, they've had sex. And basically that it's been happening through the entirety of the time he and I had been talking. I was just kind of like, okay, cool. Like, now I really know what's going on. The most hood scenario that I can think of, I was finding myself in, as someone who has never been in these types of scenarios ever. Now I look like an idiot. Like, if I didn't look like an idiot before, like, now I look like an even bigger idiot. And it was fucking with my head so much that I am seriously surprised that I didn't get fired from the job that I was at the time. Like, I was fucking up so much at work because he was mentally fucking with me so much that I just, like, it felt like I couldn't focus, whether it was in my real life or in my, like, life at home. Like I couldn't separate the two. at all. And I was just fucking up so much. Like, I just felt like I was fucking up everywhere in life when I was in this situation. So when you're in this state, like I said, when you don't know your value, like reality and what's not good for you kind of merge together. You kind of just start to like psych yourself out. Like you don't trust yourself anymore, and you start to think like, is it me? Like, did I cause this stuff? Like, you start to like doubt yourself. I think at one point I was like, you know what? Like, once again, me being Lily, like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna ignore whatever like sign the world just sent me and like hear him out, right? And so, even though I was like pissed off, I was like, let me just go hear him out. Let me go hear him out. Let me see what he has to say, you know, because I feel that he needs to let some stuff out more than I need to say anything. So let me just set up a day with him where I can meet him somewhere, and we can just like air out our grievances and then go our parting ways, right? And so that's what I did, and that's what led into the story that I'm about to tell you.